Friends, Pradeep Pindiala, wish you all a very happy Navratri. Today I am going to talk to you something about, very briefly, vaporizers and how it functions. Vaporizers functioning is really complex. It's not all that easy to understand. You need to know the thermodynamics of gases and a bit of physics. And I can understand anesthesiologists may not be very good in physics. So proper functioning of anesthetic equipment and the features and essential knowledge about how it works and how it could be potentially dangerous for the patients also if you use it wrongly is very essential to know. So before that, before knowing anything about vaporizers, first we must know few important things about how it is related to those things, those important features like critical temperature. What is critical temperature? Have you ever thought about it? The temperature above which a substance in the gaseous phase cannot be condensed further into liquid. Whatever amount of pressure you apply, that is critical temperature. I'm sure the vaporizers, it is designed to facilitate, to change the liquid anesthetic into vapor, which can be used as an anesthetic. And what is saturated vapor pressure? You come across this word, this phrase saturated vapor pressure very often in vaporizers usage. What is it? Are you aware? When the liquid and its vapor are in equilibrium, that is known as saturated vapor pressure. So it normally depends on temperature. So I'm sure you should know about this. And another thing which comes in discussion is boiling point. The temperature at which saturated vapor pressure becomes equal to atmosphere pressure. That is known as boiling point. When the entire liquid agent changes to vapor phase, that is the point of boiling point. Okay. Now, how this bypass vaporizers, and there are other things which you are supposed to know about vaporizers. What is in the system and out of the system vaporizers. You should know about what are the hazards of vaporizers, what is the pumping effect, that pressurizing effect. Those things you should know. And the safety features in vaporizers are agent specific. Okay. And the interlock. It's always agent specific when you are filling the vaporizer into the filling systems. And interlocks are there always that prevent administration of more than one anesthetic agent at a time. That is the safety features. There are many more, but at least these two you should remember for sure. Okay, I'll tell you very basics because you'll become bored. This is basically to increase your inquisitiveness on the topic and start reading. Okay, rather than telling the entire topic and you get fed up listening to it. And one thing which is very important in the Viva point of view is desflurane. Desflurane and the vaporizer which is used for usage of desflurane is invariably asked in most of the Vivas. Especially when I am there, I always ask about desflurane when you're talking about vaporizers. Okay, now what is so different about it? About desflurane. As you know, as you're aware, the MAC of minimum alveolar concentration of desflurane is much higher than other anesthetics, volatile anesthetics. It is around 6, isn't it? So therefore, the amount of desflurane needed for anesthesia would be much larger, and thus would entail cooling of the vaporizers and reduction of output when that vaporizer is cooled down, unless it is temperature compensated. Common sense, isn't it? So hence, one particular temperature is maintained of this vaporizer, this fluorine vaporizers, by using external heating source. That particular phrase you have to use. External heating source is needed, electrical source is needed to maintain particular temperature in the vaporizers of desflurane, unlike other vaporizers. And boiling point is interestingly around 22 degrees centigrade. So hence the room temperature, which is always more than 22 degrees centigrade, the amount of vapor formed would be limited only by the heat available in the vaporizer. Common sense. And you'd be aware the vapor pressure of the desflurane is much higher compared to other volatile anesthetic agents. So I'll give you an example. At 20 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure of desflurane is around 670 millimeter mercury. To be precise, 669 millimeter mercury. This is very high compared to other. Hence, what you need is large quantities of fresh gas flow through the bypass chamber to dilute this vapor. Otherwise, very large amount of gas is delivered to the patient. So what happens? 73 liters per minute of bypass flow is needed for desflurane as compared to normal. How much you give? Around 5 liters per minute for other volatile anesthetics like halothane and other thing. That's all. So there is a difference. So that is the difference between desflurane and other vaporizers. Similarly, you have to know what is TEC, what is the TEC 7, and what is the difference between TEC, what is temperature compensation. All these things you have to know about when you're talking about vaporizers. Thanks for patiently listening. Have a wonderful day. Happy Navaratri. Bye-bye. Take care.